Let's get physical, it's Jordan here, back again with this week's update on all the physical releases coming to the Nintendo Switch, June the 16th until the 20th. Let's see what we've got this week. RAIDOU Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, is releasing physically on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X at retail this week. Limited Run have their hands on the PlayStation 4 version exclusively. This is a remaster of a game I'd never heard of before, despite being a JRPG on the PS2, which was my bread and butter growing up. But you know, Atlas really did pass me by, especially with their late generation releases, which was when I started to have other interests in life like girls, guitars, and trying to get into parties I wasn't invited to. That's a joke. I wouldn't even know when or where the parties were. Anyways, if you want to run around like a French police officer summoning demons in Taisho era Tokyo, this looks like it could be an absolute banger. I wish I had the time for it. And my executive producers, Josh Foot, The Nemo 6, Alexander Cato, Gus Bune, Michael Del Polito, D's Nuts, Azareth, Kevin W, God of Resin, Murphy, and the Cookie Kid have chosen this as their pick of the week. It's also worth noting there is a Nintendo Switch 2 game key release as well. Architect Life looks to be releasing in Europe this week on Nintendo Switch, PS5 and Xbox. I haven't seen anything about a North American release. That's gotta be some kind of diss. Or maybe they think Americans are so badass at flat pack housing there's nothing left to teach them. Anyways, I'm sure there is an audience out there for this. In fact, I'm pretty sure my missus would love this if she knew which way to hold a controller. And my executive producer, Switch Effect, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Chronicles of the Wolf is releasing physically this week on Switch and PS5, and it's one I've low-key been looking forward to. I love a bit of classic-style Castlevania, and this is made by people who know what they're doing. It's been developed by the same studio, or maybe even the same person, as Wallachia, as well as some Castlevania fan games. I will have a video for this. Yes, P-Cube have stopped ignoring me, so I'll stop joking about Indonesian exploitation. And in fact, the embargo is like right now as this video goes out, but I'll show it tomorrow instead. But so far, seems pretty decent, not perfect, a little bit stiff, but a solid, nostalgic time that mixes both Castlevania genres, a bit of classic linear-ish, but also a bit RPG-ish and some exploration. It's like they found a solid middle ground. And my executive producers, Jeddah Crow, Super Ben Julio, Adamantium, and Cava Clavacol have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want it or any of the retail games in this video, please consider purchasing via the links in the description and pinned comment. That massively helps support me and this series to keep producing useful physical content for you guys. VGP are a really good company with favourable prices in Canadian buckage and free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian dollars, which is like 53, 54 American dollars. Plus, each week, if you buy something, you are put into a draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Alexander L. Congratulations, Alexander. You should get an email from VGP if you haven't already with your discount coupon. Thank you for your support and everyone else out there. 100 in 1 game collection is probably releasing in Europe this week, and it's another one of those releases. There's about half a dozen of these on the system already, and sometimes they even just repackage the same game. So it's entirely possible this is a compilation of a compilation or some kind of nonsense like that. Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit is releasing this week on Switch, PS4, PS5 and Xbox. This is an interesting new take on the franchise, I think, and I realize that is a ridiculous thing to say considering it's a side-scrolling pixel game, as though that's a revolutionary thing, but the game is supposedly very good indeed. Huge amounts of positivity for it on Steam, and if I was going to give one of the games in the series a go, I would probably choose this one. It's been out digitally for over a year now, so this physical has taken quite some time, but I'm sure FNAF fans won't be too bothered, although time does move slower for kids. Anyways, my executive producers, Cartoon Soren, Punky Dooster, and Feig have chosen this as their pick of the week. In North America, they are getting two other releases, Oddworld Anthology, The Unlikely Heroes Collection, and the Smurf-tastic Collection, both of which require a download, so boo! Alright, let's jump into the low-print, limited low-print, low releases, okay? The Pedestrian is such a super rare kind of game. In fact, I think they probably made it knowing super rare would gobble it up. This is a highly regarded puzzle game. You rearrange signs to help a little dude get through. Seems like it would work better on PC, with the mouse, but anyway, super rare have Switch and PlayStation 5 copies available on Thursday with 3,000 and 1,500 copies respectively. And my executive producers, Brent McLean, Jennifer M, Wixit, and Danielle O, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Atomicrops is Game Fairy's latest game, available for pre-order on their website in a standard edition as well as a collector's edition. Yes, Game Fairy still chugging away once in a blue moon. This is another game that up until now was an import exclusive to Japan, but this European version apparently will include all the DLC. This is a peculiar mix of Enter the Gungeon and Stardew Valley if you mixed it in a vat of molten Skittles puked up by a sparkly unicorn. It's quite the attack on the eyeballs, but supposedly pretty solid. I don't think many people imported this from Japan, so now is a decent chance to pick it up. Earthion is Limited Run's first game in this episode, and it's one a good few people are interested in. It's a side-scrolling shmup from Yuzo Koshiro. Yeah, he's put down his bagpipes and now he's making a game, or at least his company is. It's going for the 16-bit era classics with some awesome looking presentation, and it's actually made for the Mega Drive. Like, you can buy a Mega Drive cartridge of this game, but why would you do that when you can grab it on Switch, PS4, PS5, and Xbox in the standard and collector's edition? You can pre-order it right now. And my executive producers, Instacritic, Radio to Rancid, and Nerdy Sean have chosen this as their pick of the week. Trails in the Sky, first chapter. Yes, the inevitable has happened. Limited Run are doing the collector's edition of a Trails game for no other reason other than because of their brand, and they can charge double of what it would be if it was at retail. It's Limited Run, therefore it must be $180. Truly taking the piss. Anyways, thankfully the standard edition is at retail, and you can pre-order that if you want. This is a JRPG remake that I think so many people are very much excited about, and it does look absolutely fantastic, to be fair. It's Falcom, it's gonna be great. And my executive producers, Lewis K, Robotech, Dane Wilkinson, Ishin, Rose, Form Metal Luna, Precision Plague, G Bautista 100, Ethan Blue, Dave Huswaite, Vast Neon, and Sora Cat have chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, let's jump into the imports. If you want to purchase any of these, then you can do so via PlayAsia. They are also linked below, and you can get 5% off via my code Jordan2025. And by the way, as an aside, if you're new here, please do subscribe. The bigger the channel is, the more publishers will pay attention to the demand for physical media. And I'm getting slowly to that 30k subscribers. I want to do it before the end of the year, and I think it's possible, but you need to subscribe, okay, if you haven't already. Alright, Japan, what's happening this week? Joe Aniki, Bakuretsu Rantou Hen is releasing in Japan this week on Switch. I don't believe there is English. The company who are doing it never have English and often give Limited Run the English exclusivity. Not that English is needed, I would assume, for a fighting game based off the Joe Aniki series. Just muscly dudes and weirdness going toe-to-toe in a 1v1 fighter. Is this overpriced for what it is? Yes, but it does look like one of the quirkiest releases that could ever be in your collection. It will be the quirkiest alongside like Panty Party and maybe Fight Crab, obviously. And my executive producers, Dave Horwath and Surfacing for Air, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Spidersaurs is releasing in Japan this week. Limited Run did this in North America because obviously they did. It's a way forward game. It's a run and gun that makes me think this was their pitch to make a new Contra game. And supposedly it's alright in a cheap Saturday morning cartoon kind of way. It may look stiff, but hey, you're taking a flamethrower to a spider with a T-Rex head, which makes it a bona fide classic. I kind of want to play it now. The Japanese release does have English, and my executive producers, JCross7776, Issa, and Vey have chosen this as their pick of the week. Hungry Meem is releasing in Japan and Asia this week with a standard and collector's edition. There is even an English cover variant. This looks to be a town management god simulated kind of game where you have creatures called memes and you try to help them thrive, build facilities, keep them busy, breed them, and then provide the smokes in the bed for afterwards. Visually, it is a bit rough around the edges, but I think that's because the promotional material is zooming in a bit more than it otherwise would in normal gameplay. But anyways, it could be fun. All the physical versions have English. Japan and Asia are getting these games. The last time I saw you is getting a release in Europe. Barbie, Project Friendship we have already, and the other two do not have English. Alright, let's jump into the community spotlight. Ashura G sent in this photo showing off the Fuga Trilogy box set, which I actually got myself, and I was going to unbox, but I forgot, and also I couldn't be asked. Bent S sent in this photo, sending in the third version of Shredder's Revenge. Will there be a fourth, the Super Duper Ultimate Edition? We'll have to see. Executive producer Cartoon Soren sent in this photo of the collector's edition of Tokyo Clampool, one of the seemingly endless amounts of Idea Factory, Compile Heart, first-person dungeon crawling JRPGs. Gets me out of breath just saying that genre. Executive producer Danielle O sent in this photo with Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, which I'm quite happy with. I mean, yeah, it was never going to sell as well as Mario Kart, obviously, or Cyberpunk, but if my affiliates with VGP are anything to go by, it seems people really want to support this. I mean, I'm not saying you guys made me a millionaire or anything, but, you know, it's the Switch 2 game I've sold the most of, so I think that's a decent sign. I know it is quite a small survey pool, but a decent sign nonetheless. People want cartridges. Executive producer Dave Hallworth sent in this photo, picking up the Pokemon with DLC, which, as a consequence of the Switch, technically is not complete on cart anymore due to the update it got, but at least the actual content is there. That's the important thing. Elissa sent in this photo with double dipping goodness. I especially love the support for the two classic JRPG series. Executive producer G Bautista 100 sent in this photo with a couple of visual novel imports, plus a Space for the Unbound, which is going decently cheap at Serenity Forge's website right now. Executive producer Ghost Bune sent in this photo, again with Rune Factory. Definitely gonna see the Switch 2 edition more than the Switch 1, I'm pretty sure about that. Executive producer Instacritic sent in this photo with his haul for Switch 2, every proper physical cartridge too. The next one is Tamagotchi in Japan, which is kinda crazy. Executive producer Kevin W sent in this photo, getting in Front Mission 2 from a limited run. Now, do I still call this an import exclusive? I tend to still count games that got limited Western releases, but since this was limited run in North America and forever limited in Europe, should I still qualify it, or is it taking the piss of it? Cresselak sent in this photo, going to be putting that Switch 2 through its paces with those visual novel dating sims, that is for sure. Whew. Executive producer Lewis K sent in this photo with Gal Guardians, which finally released. Feels like it took forever for some reason. Mohabbat Man sent in this photo with every Capcom fighting collection on the Switch. One picture, 5 cartridges, so many classics. Robin H sent in this photo with Scarlet, and secretly I think I'm looking forward to playing this upgrade more than anything else. It might actually make it a finished product. Stefan N sent in this photo showing off the 2 versions of Shikondo, the one from Play Asia that released many years ago, and the new one which released recently with the extra character. Executive producer Surfacing for Air sent in this photo. I wonder, are Funbox still gonna do the nutty games on Switch 2? 64GB cartridges for DeviantArt titties. It's a big quandary. Executive producer Switch Effects sent in this photo with 4 of the Switch 2 cartridges. I did actually order Tears of the Kingdom, having never played it myself because where on earth would I find the time? But I bought the Switch 2 version, seemed like the best way to start if and when I do find the time. The Family OG got in Saga Frontier 2 Remastered, and I just truly can't believe that this is the actual artwork. Like, it was a placeholder, surely, but I guess not. Such a beautiful game, and that's what they came up with? Come on. Twiggy sent in this photo. I truly hope you're going to do the only sensible thing here and hook up your Switch 2 to that CRT. Cyberpunk's gonna shine on that bad boy. Executive producer Vast Neon sent in this photo with the individual Fuga games, and yeah, this did sell well, both in the box set and individually. I think CyberConnect 2 will be very happy with the support from overseas. Executive producer Vei, my man in Japan, sent in this photo picking up Cyber Shadow from Super Rare, even more evidence that it is truly in fact the year of the ninja. Alright, let's have a roundup. McLaren, Apple Sin, Arluna, Needless Dragon, Cultured Weeb, Starvey, Peter C, Choco Loco James, Paul S, Philip M, Lost Dommy, Sake Dup, Andrew R, Ryan G. Alright, if you want to send your photos, the details are on the screen right now. Special thanks, as always, to my executive producers, Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Brent McLean, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Punkiduster, Cartoon Soren, Robotech, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Issa, Vey, Instacritic, Precision Plague, Alex M, Feig, Josh Foot, Ishin, Lewis K, Kevin W, Jennifer M, Super Ben Julio, Double Dave, Husway and Horworth, Wixit, Sora Cat, The Nemo 6, Ghost Bune, G Bautista 100, Rose, Adamantium, Azrath, Jake Vav, Ethan Blue, D's Nuts, Jeddah Crow, Brotorius, Surfacing for Air, Justin PDC, Vast Neon Cookie Kid, Radio to Rancid, Danielle O, Switch Effect, Murphy, Cava Clavacol, Nerdy Sean, Ligma, and Michael Del Polito. If you want to join them, the Patreon link is down below at the bottom in the description. If you don't want to join, that's fine, but you can support me by purchasing via the links below, and of course, showing me that you are an absolute legend, because you watched all the way through, okay? So, since Aniki is releasing this week, I want you to show me some muscles in the comments, yes? Leave a muscly strong emoji in the comments below so I know who the legends are. Anyways, go check out some of my stuff. Yeah, have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.